Right. Good afternoon to everyone. So, in last class we discussed about differential amplifier, dual input and balanced output configuration. So we observed various configurations of differential amplifier. So in this class we will observe DC analysis and AC analysis of differential amplifier. So we know about what is meant by a differential amplifier and what are the actual configurations of differential amplifier. So in this class we will study about what will be the DC analysis and AC analysis of the very particular configurations which we discussed in previous classes. So there are four configurations which we are familiar with. There are four configurations which you are familiar with: differential input balanced, dual input balanced output configuration, dual input unbalanced output configuration, and single input balanced output configuration, and single input unbalanced output configuration. So now we are going to discuss DC analysis and AC analysis for these particular configurations. Okay, so first we will discuss about, last class we started about very basic configuration of first one, that is dual input balanced output configuration. So we started the analysis, DC analysis. So this particular DC analysis, this is the actual dual input balanced output differential amplifier. So dual input V1 with respect to V2 is connected to the transistors of Q1 with respect to Q2 base. Okay, and output is taken from the collector terminals of transistor Q1 with respect to the collector terminals of transistor Q2. Of transistor Q2. Okay, so now, so if we observe the particular equivalent circuit, if we observe the very particular equivalent circuit, clear, observe the equivalent circuit here. So we kept V1 and V2 in off condition. That's why here R1 resistance which is connected to the base is grounded, and R2 resistance which is connected to the Q2 base is getting grounded here. Okay, so the way what is the main purpose, main objective of DC analysis of the main, what is the main purpose or main objective of DC analysis? Why do we do DC analysis? Means here, if we see here, the main objective of DC analysis is to find the operating point values. So we need to find the operating point values, that is ICQ and VCEQ. That means the collector current and as well as the voltage across collector and emitter. We need to find out the voltage across collector and emitter. Okay, collector current with respect to voltage across collector and emitter. Right. So if we go through the DC analysis in brief, if we go to the DC analysis in brief in the particular differential amplifier, if we go to the DC analysis into the particular differential amplifier in depth, okay, so we switch off the supplies V1 with respect to V2. We discussed in this previous class. V1, V2 are kept in, are switched off, and V1, V2 is equal to 0. The DC biased voltage of magnitude plus VCC and minus VEE is applied across collector and emitter. Okay, it is applied across collector and emitter. That means if we are applying 10 volts, plus 10 volts is applied to the collector and minus 10 volts is applied to the collector, same voltage but different magnitude. That means here we are analyzing the circuit, we are operating the circuit with DC supply. We are keeping the AC supply in off condition. Okay, so if we are applying the KVL, to the particular circuit, this is the particular circuit, equivalent circuit, DC equivalent circuit. We will take this out. This is the particular DC equivalent circuit. If we apply the KVL, to the particular differential amplifier, dual input balanced output differential amplifier, if we apply the KVL, what will be the points? Means what will be the KVL points? Means first, If we apply the KVL means, so what are the KVL points here? From ground to the source resistance 1, to the transistor Q1, to the resistance RE, and next to minus VGE. Okay, with respect to the loop 1, with respect to loop 1. So if we go further by analyzing the KVL with respect to the loop 1 base emitter loop, the loop 1 is nothing but base emitter loop. Okay, the base emitter loop, that is minus RS into IB, minus RS into IB. So this is the voltage drop across the base resistance or source resistance, minus voltage across the base and emitter, minus voltage across the emitter resistance, that is minus RE into 2IE. Why here 2IE? Means here we have to consider the current flowing through the transistor Q1, that is emitter current flowing through the transistor Q1, that is IE, and the emitter current flowing through the transistor current, second transistor current IE, because this is the common emitter segment. This is the common emitter segment. This is the common emitter segment. This is a common emitter segment. That's why we are taking into consideration common emitter segment. That's why we are considering two currents flowing through the emitter resistance RE into 2IE, minus of minus. This is a negative polarity. The minus VE is nothing but negative polarity. Minus of minus VE equal to 0. Minus of minus VE, emitter current is equal to 0. Okay. So if we simplify that, minus RS into IB minus VBE minus 2E into minus RE into IE minus of minus plus VE equal to 0. This is our equation 1. So this is our equation 1. So we know that from the last class we explained that base current is equal to IE by beta DC, where beta DC is nothing but base amplification factor. We got this expression from the CE transistor configuration. We discussed this about in the previous class. Okay, IC is equal to beta IC is equal to beta DC into IB. Actually, collector current is equal to base amplification factor into base current IB. But here, because of the ideal transistor construction, Q1 and Q2 are identical. That's why IC is equal to IE. That's why IC is equal to IE. That's why we have taken IB is equal to IE divided by beta DC. So substitute the value of base current in the equation 1. Okay, that is equation 1, that is minus RS into IE divided by beta DC minus VBE minus RE into 2IE plus VE equal to 0. So now we have to take the voltage values to the LHS side. So we are shifting the voltage values to the LHS side and the resistance values to the RHS side. Okay, voltage values to the LHS side, VEE minus VBE is equal to RS into IE divided by beta DC plus RE into 2IE. Okay, students, please practice the expressions when I am explaining, so that it will be clear to you. Otherwise, it will be a lot of mess. Okay, take a book or pen and paper and practice the expression along with me, so it will be clear. If you have any doubts, just post in the chat box. We will discuss the doubts at the end of the session. Okay, right. So VEE minus VBE is equal to RS into RS divided by beta DC plus 2RE into I. So we have taken the emitter current as common here. Okay, we have taken the voltage values, emitter voltage with respect to VEE minus VBE, voltages to the left hand side, voltages polarities to the left hand side, and next we rearrange the expression with respect to the voltage polarities to the LHS side and resistances and currents to the RHS side, and we have taken IE as common here. In this expression we have taken IE as common. Okay, IE as common. So from this value we can calculate IE. Okay, so in the first we said that the main purpose of DC analysis is to find the operating voltage, that is IC and VCE. Now we are calculating IE. Why we are calculating IE means the objective of DC analysis at this particular configuration is to find IC, collector current, and voltage across collector and emitter, that is VCE. Okay, we already know that IC is equal to IE. So we are calculating the emitter current. Here we are calculating the emitter current. So alternatively, we can calculate collector current since IC is equal to IE. Okay. So from this expression, from this voltage expression, we take in common of IE, and if we take IE outside to the LHS side, emitter current is equal to VEE minus VBE whole divided by 2RE plus RS divided by beta DC. Okay, so in generally the transistors are made up of silicon and germanium. So if the transistor is made up of silicon, base to emitter voltage VBE is equal to 0.6 volts, and if the transistor is made up of germanium, the base emitter voltage is 0.2 volts, is very less. That's why at this condition generally source resistance with respect to the base amplification factor is much less than the twice times of emitter current. Such twice time of emitter current. That's why we eliminated this thing. We neglected the source resistance with respect to beta DC. The value of source resistance is very less because the supply voltage V1 and V2, because observe the circuit, observe the DC equivalent circuit, observe the DC equivalent circuit, there is no supply voltage, and the source resistance is very less, and we neglected that. And also depending upon the value of VBE, base amplification factor will be reduced, and that's why the final expression, if we rewrite this by eliminating RS divided by beta DC, ICQ is equal to collector current is equal to emitter current. We know that collector current is equal to emitter current, that is equal to VEE minus VBE divided by 2 times of RCE, 2 times of RE, 2 times of RE. So here we got our operating point, that is collector current of the transistor Q. What is Q means? Collector current of the transistor. Collector current of the transistor. Operating point we calculated IC, collector current of transistor. Okay, so we say that IC and IE are equal. Since IC and IE are equal, we wrote the expression in this manner. Thus, so we have to calculate second operating point. Second operating point, that is VCE. Second operating point, that is VCE, voltage across collector and emitter. Voltage across collector and emitter. Voltage across collector and emitter. So this is very crucial thing. This is very crucial thing. Observe the very particular circuit here. Observe the very particular circuit here. Observe the very particular circuit here. If we see the circuit here, okay, if we observe the circuit here, so we have to determine the collector to emitter current. We have to determine the collector to emitter current collector to emitter voltage VCE. The voltage of collector to emitter is approximately equal to VBE. Is approximately equal to EBE. Even though if we assume there is a voltage drop across the source resistance, even though if we assume there is a voltage drop across the source resistance, that is negligible, because supply voltage V1 is kept in off condition. That's why the voltage drop across the source resistance is negligible. It is very less. It is very less. That means the source internal resistance of AC source, internal resistance of AC source will be of minimum value. That's why we are neglecting the voltage drop across RS1. Okay. The voltage across collector to emitter terminal should be equal to the voltage of across the voltage across the collector to emitter terminal should be equal to the voltage across base to emitter. And we know the important factor, that is IC is equal to IE, and IC is equal to, and the value of IC is equal to IE. At this condition plus VCC, at this condition plus VCC is applied to collector, is applied to the collector. Okay, plus VCC voltage is applied to the collector, and at this very particular condition, the voltage across the collector terminal of the transistor is VC. Voltage VC, the voltage across the transistor terminal is VC. The voltage across the transistor terminal here we observed is VC. Voltage across the transistor terminal here we observed is VC. Okay, and the voltage drop across this resistance, collector resistance, the voltage drop across the collector resistance, that is IC, that is a voltage drop across the collector resistance, that is IC into RC. Voltage drop across the collector resistance is IC into RC. If we subtract the voltage drop from the collector current, if we subtract this particular voltage drop from the collector current, then VC, voltage across the collector, will be obtained. Okay, then VC, voltage across the collector, will be obtained. Okay, so voltage drop across the collector current. So how can we explain the voltage drop across the collector current? So here observe the very particular circuit. Observe the very particular equation we have written here. Voltage drop. How can we obtain the voltage drop across the collector current VCC? So here we know that VC is equal to biased voltage VCC minus RC into IC. What is RC into IC? RC into IC is nothing but voltage drop across the collector resistance. Collector resistance. Okay, so from this very particular basic expression, okay, if we write down the collector to emitter voltage VCE, collector to emitter voltage VCE is equal to the difference of collector voltage and emitter voltage. 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 Okay, collector voltage and emitter voltage. So collector voltage and emitter voltage. So VCE is equal to the difference of collector voltage minus emitter voltage, that is equal to, we know that value of VC is nothing but VCC minus RC into IC minus emitter voltage. So what is here emitter voltage? Emitter voltage in the particular circuit. See, in the particular circuit, emitter voltage is VBE. Emitter voltage is VBE, and we applied the emitter voltage in the particular VBE. One second. Right. Okay. So if we observe the VCC here, okay, how can we find collector to emitter current? Collector to emitter current is nothing but a difference of VC minus VE. VC is nothing but voltage across the collector, and VE is nothing but voltage across emitter. Voltage across emitter. So that can be rewrite VC minus VE, that is equal to, we know the value of VC and we know that value is of VE. Voltage across the emitter is nothing but base to emitter voltage is flowing there, that is VCC minus RC into IC minus of minus VBE. Minus of minus VBE. So if we rewrite the expression, VCE Q in the sense voltage across the collector to emitter in a particular transistor, that is equal to VCC plus VBE minus RC into IC, where RC into IC is nothing but voltage drop across the collector resistance. Voltage drop across the collector resistance. So here we calculated two operating voltages. One is IC and second one is VCEQ. Okay, so IC and VCEQ. So here we have concluded the DC analysis. So if you have any doubt, just post in the chat box. We will discuss at the end of the section, or just raise your hand during the doubt discussion. So is it clear? Kote sir, is there any disturbance happened? Kote sir?
Sir, nothing, sir.
It's clear, okay? Right. Can I continue?
It's clear.
Okay,
Continue, sir.
Okay. So if we observe the very particular AC analysis, what is the purpose of conducting AC analysis? What is the purpose of conducting AC analysis? The main purpose of conducting AC analysis. The main purpose of conducting AC analysis is to find out voltage gain. First most important point is to find out voltage gain, and second most point is to find out input resistance, and we have to find out the input resistance, and third one is to find out output resistance, and third one is to find out input resistance, and also we have to find out output resistance. We have to find out input resistance, and also we have to find out output resistance. We have to find out output resistance or not of a differential amplifier. Okay, so in DC analysis what we did is we kept the AC supply V1 and V2 is equal to 0, and we applied the DC supply to the biased voltage points plus VCC and minus VEE. So here in the particular AC analysis, what we are doing means we are setting the biased voltage points to 0. We are keeping the DC voltages at the point 0. We are switching off the DC voltages. Okay, we are switching the DC voltages. So observe, if we observe the equivalent circuit, don't get frightened. Observe the equivalent circuit very carefully. We will explain the equivalent circuit. So compare. This is the actual differential. Observe the circuit. Observe the circuit here. So this is our dual input, balanced output differential amplifier. Dual input, balanced output, or dual input, controlled output, balanced amplifier. So differential amplifier, dual input, balanced output, differential amplifier. So in DC analysis, we switched off the input supply voltages V1 with respect to V2. Now what we are doing means here at this particular section, what we are doing means we are switching off the DC voltages plus VCC and minus VEE are equal to 0, and the differential amplifier is energized with the AC supply V1 with respect to V2. Observe the T section model here. This is the V1 with respect to V1, source resistance RS1 with respect to RS1, with source resistance RS1 with respect to RS1, and next the transistor, equivalent circuit of the transistor is drawn here in the particular T segment. So this is the base terminal, and this is the collector terminal, and this is the emitter terminal, and next this is the collector terminal or output terminal, where we are taking this is the output terminal, one output terminal, positive output terminal, where we are taking the output V0. Okay, and this is the common emitter resistance. This is how we draw the common emitter resistance, and this is the second transistor source V2 with respect to source resistance RS2, that is connected next to the base terminal, and this is the collector terminal. Is it clear? Okay, right. So this is the base terminal of the transistor Q2, and this is the collector terminal of transistor Q2, and this is the emitter resistance terminal, and this is the collector resistance, and next this is the source resistance. We all know that RS1 is equal to RS2, RC1 is equal to RC2, and here we have RE dash is equal to RE dash 1 is equal to RE dash 2 is equal to RE. Okay, and transistor Q1 is symmetrical to transistor Q2. Both are identical transistors. Both are identical transistors. Okay, same conditions we discussed in the yesterday's class also. The RS1 resistance is equal to RS2. RC1 resistance is equal to RC2. Okay, emitter resistance is the common segmented emitter resistance. So this is the equivalent circuit, AC equivalent circuit of dual input balanced output differential amplifier. Differential amplifier, and the biased voltages are kept as 0. Plus VCC and minus VCC are kept as 0. The objective of this particular AC analysis is to find voltage gain A suffix D and input resistance R input is equal to RS and output resistance R naught. So here we have to calculate these operating points: voltage gain, input resistance and output resistance. Stick to a point that we kept the DC operating points as 0. We kept the DC operating points as 0. That means plus VCC and minus VCC are equal to 0. Those are switched off. Okay. So observe here we have two loops. So this is one loop and this is one loop. You can see two loops. This is one loop and this is another loop. Two loops. Actually there are four loops. So this is loop 1 and this is loop 2. This is loop 3 at the particular resistance of the collector, and this is loop 4. Four actual loops are there. Now we are considering two loops. We can see two active loops clearly with respect to source terminals of V1 and V2. So the first loop is with respect to V1 to the source resistance RS1 to RE dash to RE dash. Okay, and next with respect to RE, loop 1 is from V1 to RS1 to RE dash to RE. Okay, loop 2 is nothing but with respect to V2 to RS2 to RE dash to RE. So if we observe the KVL, to the particular loop 1, so before studying the KVL with respect to the loop 1, these are the particular things we have. Both emitter currents are same, IE1 and IE2 are same. Emitter resistances RE dash, RE1 and RE2 are same, because the both transistors are having same emitter resistances, that is represented with respect to RE. Okay, that is represented with respect to RE. Since RE1 is equal to RE2, that is represented with RE. So because the voltage across the collector resistance is out of phase with 180 degrees, we all know that we discussed it in the previous class, that's it. And the input voltage is V input 1 with respect to V input 2. V input 1 or V1 or V input 2 or V2. So if we go through the particular KVL with respect to the loop 1, V input 1 minus RS into V input 1 minus RS1 into IB1 minus RE into IE1 minus of RE into IE1 minus IE2. So observe the loop here. So if we observe the loop here, if we observe the very particular loop here, and if we take all these things out, just to focus on the KVL. Just focus on the KVL. V input 1 minus voltage drop across the source resistance, that is RS1 into IB1 minus voltage drop across the emitter resistance RE1 into IE1 minus, so voltage drop across the common emitter RE, which include two emitter currents IE1 plus IE2 equal to 0. IE1 and IE2 equal to 0. Loop 1 V1 minus RS1 into IB1 minus RE into IE1 minus RE into IE1 minus IE2. Loop 2 with respect to loop 2, observe with respect to loop 2, V2 minus RS2 into IB2 minus RE dash into IE2 minus RE into IE1 plus IE2. So this is particular loop 2. This is particular loop 2. KVL of loop 1 is represented as equation 5 and KE of loop 2 is represented as equation 6. Okay, so here substitute the base current value. IB1 is equal to IE1 divided by beta AC. IB1 is equal to IE1 divided by beta AC. These two expressions which are formed from the configuration of loop 1 and loop 2, and the base current IB1 is equal to IE1 divided by IE1 divided by beta AC, where beta AC is nothing but base amplification factor. So here we are dealing with the AC supply. AC supply, that's why that is represented as beta AC supply. V1 and V2 are two strictly AC sources. That's why base amplification factor is operated with respect to AC source. In previous condition, AC supply is an off condition. We are dealing with DC supply. That's why that is beta DC. IB1 is equal to emitter current 1 divided by beta AC. IB2 is equal to emitter current 2 of transistor with respect to beta AC. Okay, so if we substitute IB1 and IB2 in equation, if we substitute IB1 in equation 5 and if we substitute IB2 in equation 6, so IB1 in equation 5, that we rewrite, this is V input 1 minus RS1 into IE1 divided by beta AC minus RE1 into RE into IE1 minus RE into IE1 plus IE2. Okay, V input 2 minus RS2 into IE2 divided by beta AC minus RE2 into IET minus RE into IE1 plus IE2, that is equal to 0. Okay, so that is about two expressions. So, and again, if we see here in Keen, generally the source resistance with respect to base amplification factor, RS1 with respect to beta AC and RS2 with respect to beta AC. Source resistance with respect to base amplification factor with respect to source 1 and source resistance with respect to base amplification factor with respect to source 2 are very, very small. Those are very, very negligible. Those are very, very small. So we can neglect them because RS1 value is very, very small. The source resistance value is very, very small. If we neglect those values, so that is equal to, so if we take the voltage parameters to the LHS side and resistances and currents to the RHS side. So this is the voltage parameter, the supply voltage parameter. V1 is equal to RE plus small re plus capital RE with respect to IE1 plus small capital RE2 with respect to IE2, and this is if we rewrite these particular above two expressions into this, if we by neglecting RS1 divided by beta AC, because the source resistance RS1 we neglect them because the source resistance RS1 is very, very small. Okay, is very, very small, and V1 V2 V input 1 and V input 1 and V input 2, V input 2 are kept on LHS side and resistance with respect to currents are placed on RHS side. Resistance with respect to currents are placed on RHS side. So we are taking the current terms as common here. If we take the current terms as common here, if we take the current terms as common, and we have to, if we write the expression of 7 and 8, if we write the expression of 7 and 8, if we write the expression of 7 and 8 in a particular matrix notation, okay, so this is the voltage coefficient matrix V input, this is the voltage coefficient matrix, with respect to voltages, V input voltages, and next this is the particular resistance coefficient matrix. This is the particular resistance coefficient matrix, and next this is the emitter current, and this is the emitter current coefficient matrix. So if we take the Cramer's rule, which we studied in the basic mathematics, IE1 is equal to, so the first column is replaced. The first column of resistance coefficients are replaced with respect to input voltage, modulus of input voltage, and second column is placed as it is with respect to the denominator of resistance coefficients. And if we take IE2, that is equal to IE2, and first column of the resistance coefficient is kept as same, and second column is replaced with respect to input voltages, divided by the denominator is placed with the resistance coefficient matrix. Okay, so if we make the modulus, we know that modulus, how can we make, means AD modulus of A, this is B, this is C, and this is D. V input is A, and if we say this is A, this is B, this is C, and this is D, we know the basic thing, modulus of ABCD, that is equal to AD minus BC. Okay, AD minus BC. AD, V input 1 into RE plus capital RE minus BC, that is RE into V input 2, divided by, same here, AD minus BC, that is R plus RE whole square minus RE square. So same here, modulus of the matrix AD minus ABCD, that or XY PQRS we studied in the basic matrix, that is AD minus BC, RE plus capital RE into V input 2 minus V input 2, V input 1 into RE, divided by AD minus BC, that is RE plus capital RE whole square minus RE square. Cross, if we do a actual, how can we know the matrix actual making? You know the actual making. So how can we make this, means this is the cross multiplication here, and this is the cross multiplication here, and this is the cross multiplication here, and this is the cross multiplication here. So if we do, if we take this multiple matrix as A, and this is B, and this is C, and this is D, same as it is AD minus BC, AD minus BC and all, AD minus BC and AD minus BC and AD minus BC and all, we can derive with respect to IE1 and IE2, IE1 and IE2. Okay, so we calculated the emitter current IE1 and IE2, So our objective is to find the voltage gain, capital AD. Our objective is to find voltage gain, capital AD. But we are finding emitter current IE1 and IE2 because V0 is in the terms of IE1 and IE2. V0 is in the terms of IE1 and IE2. We previously in amplifier discussion we discussed about common voltage gain and common mode voltage gain and differential mode voltage gain, A suffix CM and A suffix D. Okay, voltage gain AD is equal to output voltage divided by the difference of input voltages. That means here the value of AD is equal to V0 divided by VD. What is VD? VD is equal to V1 minus V2. V1 minus V2. AD is equal to voltage gain. AD is equal to, it's a ratio of output voltage with respect to difference of two input voltages. Difference of two input voltages. Okay, so from that, so we have to calculate. So in order to find out output voltage, so here in order to find out the output voltage V0 is equal to, it's a difference of V0 is its output voltage. Observe the circuit. So where we are taking the output voltage in the particular equivalent circuit, we are taking the output voltage in the particular equivalent circuit. Here we are taking the output voltage at the terminals of collectors, at the collector terminal. See here, if we see here very carefully, in the particular differential amplifier condition, we are taking the output from the collectors. V0 is observed across the two collector terminals. V0 is observed across two collector terminals across VC1 and VC2. That's the why V0 is equal to V0 output voltage across output voltage V0 is equal to VC2 minus, it's a difference of VC2 minus VC1. V0 is equal to VC2 is equal to the resistance drop across VC2, that is equal to RC2 into IC2 minus of minus RC into IC1. If we rearrange that properly, V0 output voltage is equal to RC1 into IC1 minus RC2 into IC2. Okay, so we know that collector current is equal to emitter current. In the very first thing we are saying collector current is equal to emitter current because both transistors are identical, both the transistors are symmetrical. Okay, collector current is equal to emitter current, that is V0 is equal to RC into IE1 minus IE2. Okay, substitute the value of IE1 and IE2. Substitute the value of IE1 and IE2 in the particular expression. In this particular expression, if we substitute the value of IE1 and IE2 in the particular expression, V0 is equal to RC into IE1, that is IE1 that is RE plus capital RE into V input 1 minus RE into V input 2 whole divided by RE plus capital RE whole square minus RE square minus RC2 minus RE plus capital RE into V input 2 minus RE into V input 1 divided by RE plus capital RE whole square minus RE square. That means we substitute the value of IE1 and IE2 in this particular equation, V0 is equal to RC into IE1 minus IE2. I substitute the value of IE1 and IE2 in this particular expression. V0 is equal to RC into, okay, so take the common values. So take the common values here. So V0 is equal to common values. So what are common values in this particular above expression? The voltage drops. So what are common expressions? The common terms are in the denominator. That is RE into V input 1 minus V input 2 and RE into V input 1 minus V input 2. Okay, so if we take that as common, those just come and observe here. This is if we observe here very carefully, this is a plus b whole square. If we take that a plus b whole square, a square plus b square plus 2ab minus re square, this re minus re square and this plus re square will get cancelled. This get cancelled, and this will be the denominator expression, that is re square. What will be eliminated? This will be get cancelled, and again this will be get cancelled, means what will happen again? Re square plus 2re into re, and re is common here, and re is common here. Re is common here. If we take re common, re into re plus 2re. Okay, and again here we can take input voltage. Here input voltage is common in the above expression. If we take the input voltage common, that is re plus 2re into V input minus V output, that is, okay. So output voltage is equal to RC divided by capital RC divided by small re into V input minus V output. Okay, we got the output voltage in terms of the difference between the input voltages applied to the configuration. Okay, V0 is having some resistance. That is V0 is having certain resistance. That means the differential amplifier amplifies the difference between two signals. That is the actual definition we know. So by we defined that V input is equal to the difference of V input minus V input 2. Okay, V input 2. So how can we rewrite the definition of voltage gain? AD is equal to V0 divided by VID. So this is the thing we studied earlier. That is equal to RC divided by RE. That means note that the voltage gain of differential amplifier is independent of RE. Okay, is independent of RE. So here we studied about differential gain. So here we studied about differential gain. So in next class we will study about differential input resistance and differential output resistance. Okay, so if you have any doubts and queries, you can ask me. 1 second.